Welcome to the 7th episode of the Bobby Turtle Podcast. I'm your host, CK Payne, alongside my co-host,
Kate Madison.
All right, first thing on the agenda. Let's get right into it. Sports. It's getting pretty busy, right, Kate?
Oh, yeah.
First up, some of those super wild card weekend games that was referred to by the NFL. The Colts and Bills opened it up with a close one where the Bills came away with a 27-24 win to move forward. Phillip Rivers is now 0-4 in playoff games under 40 degrees, and although he performed well, it wasn't well enough for the high-powered Bills offense.
Yeah, man, I expected the Bills to take this game by much more. I just thought the Colts didn't have anything going for him. Phillip Rivers is washed up just like your old pal Drew Brees. I just don't think he's got any more in him. The Colts need to move on and get something different for their future.
Right, yeah, but I definitely love my quarterback, Drew Brees, and no matter what you say, that's not going to change. So then the Rams went into Seattle and surprised. They came away with an upset victory over the Sea Chickens, 30-20, and will face Green Bay this weekend at Lambeau Field.
Yeah, this game surprised me along with, I feel like, most of America and you too. I didn't expect the Rams to come in here and do this, but, I'd watched something, I think it was about a week ago, saying that the Rams could be the sleeper team in this year's playoffs. And I was thinking, no way. Because from the team you saw this season, I didn't even know if they were going to make the playoffs halfway through the season. And, the way they played Seattle, if they play that way, they'll be in the Super Bowl no problem. And I think if they keep playing like this, they can win the Super Bowl no problem.
Specifically if they have the referees on their side.
Charleston, you're never going to let that go.
I will never let that go. That's going to go with me to the day I die, and it'll probably be somewhere written in my casket as well.
Every other Saints fan. That's why. See, I don't just hate the Saints because it's not like I have no reason. I hate the Saints because of the fans. The fans are just too much. You can tell when the Saints are playing because all you have to do is log into Facebook and open it, and you can see 50 people complaining. You don't get that with any other team. Any other team. The Falcons choked the Super Bowl. And you didn't see them complaining that much.
Because they straight up lost fair and square. Anyways.
But do y'all ever lose fair and square?
Not necessarily.
Oh, my God.
It's very rare. It happens every now and again. The only reason we lost a few games this year is because Latoya Cantrell wouldn't allow more than 1,000 people to come be in the crowd.
Who is Latoya Cantrell?
The crappiest mayor in the country. The mayor of the city of New Orleans. She's horrible.
Have you ever been in New Orleans?
She's hideous. She's ugly.
It's a terrible place.
Of course it is, because she runs it.
It stinks. It smells. It's the Saints fans. They stink. They smell.
Anyways, back to the Rams game.
I'm sorry if I offend any Saints fans out there, but I'm not really sorry.
Back to the Rams game. Wasn't Jared Goff hurt going into the game? Like he wasn't supposed to play?
Yeah, I think he was questionable. He said he was something like 75% prior to the game.
Right. Well, yeah, he finished the game 9 for 19, 155 yards and a touchdown.
That's pretty garbage.
Russell Wilson was 11 for 27, 174 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick.
Also garbage.
He didn't play very well, not to what anybody would have expected out of him. DK Metcalf receiving only 96 yards and 2 touchdowns and was locked up the entire game by Jalen Ramsey.
Jalen Ramsey's the real deal, and DK Metcalf slightly overrated. So, yeah, that's understandable.
You think DK is overrated?
Like I said, slightly overrated.
Okay.
So before y'all come trying to cut off my head, I said slightly overrated. I don't think, but just because in college he played for a pass-heavy offense under Hugh Freeze for most of his career, and didn't produce. What do he have? Like 800 career receiving yards at Ole Miss.
You're not.
It wasn't
wrong.
anything impressive, and the only reason that he got anything going in the draft day was because of that picture he posted with the other Ole Miss wide receiver. What was his name? AJ Brown.
Yeah.
And saying something about how he only had 2% body fat, and then he came to the combine and showed he was a freak of nature. Right. I would say he's still slightly overrated, and if I were the Seahawks, I would try to pick up another wide receiver this year in the draft.
So for the last of Saturday's schedule, the Washington football team kept it close, but couldn't pull it off over Tom Brady and the Bucs.
Yeah, man, I thought Washington was going to get this game. I was actually at the fishing camp this past weekend watching this game. That Heineke kid,
yeah, Heineke didn't look bad at all.
He's going to be a force to be reckoned with. I'm thinking next year. I think Washington's getting something put together down there.
Yeah, the run that he had where he kind of busted loose a little bit, made a couple moves, and dove for the pylon.
The Panthers are going to regret getting rid of Ron Rivera. I thought it was a bad move
yeah.
from the get-go, and look what he did to Washington. He turned them from a 2-14 team to a playoff contender or a Super Bowl contender, and I think he's got something going good right there. On the defensive line, they have 4 first-round picks.
Right. I don't know if you saw this about Ron Rivera though, but the The reason he was fired from Carolina, he lost to the Washington Redskins at the time and Dwayne Haskins last year. This year, the Washington football team lost to Carolina with Dwayne Haskins starting quarterback, and Dwayne Haskins got released by Ron Rivera, who is now head coach of the Washington football team.
By the way, if any of the other 31 NFL teams pick up Dwayne Haskins, you're not smart.
No, he's hot garbage.
Hot garbage.
He is dog water.
Like Jamarcus Russell 2.0 hot garbage. He is bad. The only reason that he has somewhat decent stats is because he had Terry McLaurin to bail him out.
Right. So for Sunday's games, it opened up with the Ravens staying on top and taking the win over the Titans 20-13. They really held Derrick Henry, and I don't think there was a single rushing first down for the Titans throughout the first 3 quarters.
The Titans didn't have a single first down rushing attempt the whole entire game. Derrick Henry had, don't quote me on this, but I think something like 16 or 17 rushing attempts for 40 yards.
18 attempts for 40 yards, actually.
Yeah. So I was pretty close. Yeah, I'd watch that. And Lamar Jackson really couldn't get it done with his arm that game, so he said, you know what? I'm just going to run the ball.
And he
got
did
him the dub.
16 rushing attempts for Lamar Jackson, 136 yards and a touchdown.
And what I liked about Lamar was, because last year, that Ravens team came in and they took the NFL by storm, and Lamar said that the reason that he thinks that they might have lost that playoff game was because he was too focused on his own personal stats and stuff like that. So coming in this game, I think he was locked in on getting a good team win and not really worried about quite himself. He was just trying to walk away with the dub.
Right. Now, I can't remember exactly, but wasn't it the Titans that took the Ravens out last year in the playoffs?
Correct. It was the Titans that took out the Ravens by surprise.
Yeah, and was Tannehill with the Titans last year.
Yeah, that's when
when
Derrick Henry rushed for like 210 yards and destroyed him.
I can't believe they locked him up because Derrick Henry is the first.
They were pissed off, bro. If you're playing with a chip on your shoulder, that happens.
Right, but 2,000 yards. He's the first person ever to rush for 2,000 yards in a high school season, a college season, and an NFL season. Nobody's ever done that.
I bet you he's had a pretty terrible quarterback at all of them. Well, except for at Alabama.
I don't know about his high school. I'm not very sure. Do you know?
No.
High school?
I don't know where he went to high school. I wish I did. I didn't really follow his recruitment that hard. He was
with A.J. McCarron, right, at Alabama, or was it a different quarterback?
No, Trent Richardson was with A.J. McCarron. He was with Jalen Hurts and Tua.
Oh yeah, that's right. So, in the Nickelodeon game, the Saints versus the Bears, where the Saints pulled it off 21-9, and they move on to play the Buccaneers this weekend.
I will say, the Saints should have won this game by more, because I haven't really watched the Bears all season, but after watching them play, they're bad. They're very bad.
Did you get to check it out any on Nickelodeon?
No, I didn't get to watch the Nickelodeon game. All I saw was highlights. Like I said, I was at the fishing camp,
right.
So you had to watch it where you could get it.
I think the coolest thing was the graphics, but the commentating wasn't very good. Like they put a picture of Drew Brees up with Taysom Hill, and then they were like, Drew Brees and Taysom Hill are good friends on and off the field, and they really work together when they're on the field together.
Nobody cares.
Then, right beside it, they pull up a picture of SpongeBob and Patrick, and they're like, Drew Brees and Taysom Hill are like SpongeBob and Patrick. I was like,
which one's fat?
What do you mean?
Which one's fat?
Yeah. Which one of them's dumb? I mean, Drew Brees is a smart quarterback. Taysom Hill is a smart football player, I guess you could refer to him as.
Yeah, football player. He's everything.
So, I know you think Drew Brees is washed up. This is kind of random, but with Drew Brees being washed up, do you think Taysom's a franchise quarterback for the Saints?
No. I will continuously say it. Taysom Hill does not need to play quarterback, and he will never be a franchise quarterback for an NFL team.
He's really old. Did you know that?
Yeah,
because of all his injuries in college and stuff. He's had 2 career-ending injuries. But
I was watching the game where he broke his leg at BYU and he rolled out and his leg just went snapped.
Yeah.
And because me and Dad were talking about that, and my dad looked at me and he said, "I don't think we'll see him ever playing football again."
Yeah, he got drafted at like 28 years old because of all those injuries and stuff.
Yeah, he's like 32 right now, isn't he?
I think he's 31 or 32. Don't quote me on that. I might be slightly wrong. But Drew Brees finished that game 28 for 39, 265 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
Throwing only check down routes.
All of his completions, all those 11 completions, were probably a deep pass. His deep ball just wasn't there. Like his check down routes were there, and his receivers were able to catch and run with it.
He's losing his touch, man. I know I give Charleston hell about it, and y'all might just think I do it just to give him hell, but I exaggerate a little bit. But I honestly think Drew Brees is kind of losing his touch
he seemed like he was slightly losing his touch Sunday.
He's been slightly losing it all season and last season.
I'm not gonna say anything about that. We're gonna see what he does against the Buccaneers. So lastly, for the NFL, the most overrated team in the league, unless dancing was a part of the sport to score. The Steelers lose big to the Browns 48-37. Juju defended his statement of the Browns is the Browns even after the beatdown.
The Browns are the Browns even after a beatdown. You're not going to take away 20-something years of going 0-16.
They went without a playoff win for how long? I can't remember the length.
20,
I know the Bills were 25 years.
Yeah, and then I know it's been, I think, 18 since the Browns made an appearance.
Wow. Yeah, they got the first round draft pick so many times. I mean, the first pick of the first round so many times in a row.
And they wasted the
and
first
they
pick of the first
blew it.
round
What,
so
they
many
had
times.
Tim Couch, wasn't that one of the guys they picked up that lasted
Yeah.
a couple months? Johnny Manziel partied too much. Loved the dude in college. I mean, he was
Oh, yeah.
great.
He just couldn't keep his nose clean in the NFL. Once he got that money, that cocaine was right there in front of him, and he couldn't.
I thought that's where you're going with the nose clean statement.
Yeah.
Anyways, that kind of wraps it up for us for the NFL. So, Alabama was crowned national champs Monday night after a one-sided affair with Ohio State. 52-24 was the final mark for that one. That's Coach Saban's sixth title as the head coach of Alabama.
Yeah, Coach Saban, I saw that he had passed up Bear Bryant. No, this is his seventh title.
It's a seventh?
Seventh title. I read that today. I don't know.
No, it's his seventh, because if you count the one with LSU.
Oh, it's sixth title at
It's his
Alabama.
sixth at Bama, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, but I saw he passed up Bear Bryant because I think Bear Bryant only won 5 at Alabama.
Right.
Yeah,
But Saban, you got to respect the guy. I don't care where you're from. It doesn't matter. Saban is the best head football coach in college football history.
Okay, sorry to stretch this out a little bit, but I've seen a lot of debate online recently. Would 2019
Smack him. Don't even finish it. Smack him. We'd walk all over him.
I
The
agree.
2019 LSU Tigers football team would walk all over 2020 Alabama Crimson Tide.
I say they beat them by 2 touchdowns, easy.
We beat them by 4 to 6 touchdowns.
Yeah, because you got to think this year's Bama team played an SEC full of
Their
COVID?
excuse was the SEC schedule, but who did they play? Missouri? What? Kentucky? They added Kentucky to their
who
schedule.
they play. LSU.
If they would have added Georgia to their schedule, I guarantee they would have lost to Georgia.
They played Georgia.
Did they?
Yeah,
Are you sure?
positive. 40-24
Okay.
they lost.
You're right. I missed out
Georgia
on that.
lost.
But I mean, I just don't think.
I mean, they literally played a SEC full of Bo Pelini defenses. That's technically what the SEC was. this year.
Yeah, I mean,
It
including
was a
LSU.
joke. The
Unfortunately,
SEC as a whole was so young this year that it was almost like watching the Big 12.
It was so bad it made Alabama look good.
Yeah, that's what I'm
now,
saying.
sure, Alabama looked great against Ohio State, and they proved themselves to be a really good team. And Devontae Smith, it proved himself to be a great wide receiver. What, like 215 yards in the first half and 3 touchdowns, I believe?
he's arguably had the best season of any wide receiver in college football history. If I had to take him or Jamar Chase on my team right now, I'd have to flip a coin.
Right, yeah, them two. Because Jamar Chase had very similar stats last season
Yeah, I
to
think
what
he
Devontae Smith
had
has this
100
season.
less receiving yards, and I think 2 less receiving touchdowns.
Right,
But you
but a
gotta
couple
think-
more receptions
Yeah,
is what I saw,
But
I believe.
Devontae Smith also wasn't sharing the ball with Justin Jefferson and Terrace Marshall.
Yeah, he didn't have Jalen Waddle as
He
well.
had
If he'd had
Michie,
Now-
whoever the hell Michie is.
Now, Jalen Waddle, before he got hurt, had 1 receiving yard more, 1 yard, 3 feet more than what Devontae Smith had when he got hurt. Almost the same number of receptions. I saw that during the national championship game. It popped up. He had 1 yard more than Devontae Smith. And then Devontae Smith really did step up to take that team over.
I think if Jalen Waddle comes back, I feel like they both have a similar season towards what Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase did.
I got to say, did you watch the national championship?
Yeah, I watched a little bit of it.
I was kind of upset that Saban put Jalen Waddle in that game. He was clearly he
wasn't-
couldn't even walk
It
to the
wasn't.
sideline.
It wasn't Saban's decision, and Jalen Waddle had been medically cleared, and it was. I mean, it's probably the last college football game he'll play. huh?
Right. Now, another thing I did like about Saban, though, was allowing Landon Dickerson, the center, to go in and take the final
Yeah.
snaps in victory
That was
formation
nice.
because he had been injured all season.
Yeah,
As a
that was
senior,
a cool
it was,
thing to see.
Yeah, Saban, I guess you could say the man's got a heart as well.
Well, it seemed like after the game too that he seemed to enjoy this national championship a little bit more. And after reading the whole thing about how he passed it Bear Bryant, I think I would have enjoyed it a little bit more than the rest too.
Right. Alrighty. I want to talk to my guys and gals at Fish. Do you feel like you're always having to buy a new rod and reel because they break or they just don't feel right for you? If you want to get the last rod and reel you'll ever buy, you have to go check out Enigma Fishing. Enigma is based out of Florida and produces some of the highest quality rods and reels on the market today. Enigma was developed by top tournament anglers that you may hear their names on TV sometime. Outfitted with top-of-the-line components, the Enigma fishing rods feature sleek and ergonomically designed handles and blank through reel seats that create a seamless connection between angler and rod, bolstering sensitivity and ergonomics, great prices, and a sweet lifetime replacement warranty. To buy a rod or reel for freshwater or saltwater fishing, visit enigmafishing.com. My personal favorite is the Epon rod with an Epon reel. Enigma is the only brand that I ever fish with. You just can't go wrong with them. Again, the website is enigmafishing.com. Be sure you go check them out and make a purchase. I promise you will not regret it. Last week, a mob ascended on our nation's capital. Today, President Trump was impeached for the second time in 13 months, and the double Republican losses in Georgia and the future of the GOP. Wow, that's a lot, and thankfully, political consultant and St. Martin Parish Republican Executive Committee member Kelby Daigle joins us now. Kelby, welcome back to the show.
Thank you for having me again. Appreciate it.
For sure. So, starting off with the impeachments. President Trump was impeached literally just moments ago as we're recording and charged with incitement of insurrection by Democrats and some Republicans. What do you make of it?
Yeah, let that sink in. He was just impeached for the second time in 13 months. I mean, isn't that incredible?
Yeah, that's insane, man.
A lot of it is the Democrats are crazed about him and about impeachment. They've kind of watered it down a lot to where it almost kind of means nothing. Because nothing's going to happen probably in the Senate. They're not going to convene until the 19th of January, so a day before next day. So you're talking about a possible trial as soon as when he's former President Trump. So, I mean, that just doesn't make any sense. And it's a real disservice to Joe Biden coming in. I mean, he's not going to have a cabinet because the Senate has to stay in trial mode until it's finished with. So they can't do nothing else until the trial is over on a has-been president. I mean, it's really when you look at when you think our priorities as Republicans are out of whack. I mean, they're probably just as out of whack. But I don't think the president should have been impeached with 7 days to go. I don't think it should have happened. But then, part of me says, well, somebody needs to be responsible for what happened, and the president kind of did incite that insurrection because he addressed those people, and then some of those people, and I don't want to lump all of those people in there because I don't think all of them went to do what they did on the Capitol, but 5 people died, and an assault on democracy happened. I mean, so somebody's got to be held accountable.
Yeah, man, I agree with you, and that was a childlike thing that he did up there. I would have to agree with you.
Yeah, and then there were so many lies. It was lie after lie after lie. Like, we won the election in a landslide. I mean, well, if you tabulate the numbers, every number was certified by Republican legislatures, by Democrat legislatures. You didn't. He didn't win.
Yeah, so with legitimate reason to make it happen, are there 17 Republicans to convict President Trump?
I doubt it. I mean, I don't think that's going to happen. I don't really think it's going to happen. I mean, it's all up what McConnell wants to do, and obviously, I think they're still trying to protect him because if they would have given him the full middle finger, they would have come back into recess much earlier than the day before Election Day.
Right. So do you think that regardless of how this round of impeachment goes, does the president resign before the Biden administration?
No, because if he would have wanted to kind of covert this, he would have resigned probably yesterday. And by the time the Senate comes in with the trial, he'll be former President Trump. So no, I don't think he won't resign.
Right. So we're going to move on and we're going to talk a little bit about the attacks on the Capitol. So let's get to why he was impeached in the first place. I want to get your reaction and perspective of what exactly happened 1 week ago today.
Y'all, I'm still trying to figure it out. I mean, I was watching that exactly 1 week ago today, just stunned that this was actually happening. The pictures were, there were thousands of whatever you want to call them. I mean, some call them domestic terrorists, some call them protesters, whatever. There were thousands of those people. And it was really, it was un-American, for the most part. It was sedition, and it was a smear on all the millions of people that voted for Donald Trump, and it was a smear on the America First agenda. Because now, our movement that we had, and now Republicans are all being branded as those people, and we're not those kinds of people. It was a disgrace, and it's unfortunate that it took place and it was broadcast around the world because we are the example. We are the leader of the free world. We are what people kill for. People want to be us. They come here and risk it all because they want to be us. And to just put a knife in the Democratic way like that by a mob in the people's house, in the heart of the American democracy, they called for the hanging of Vice President Pence. They broke stuff. They stole stuff. They threatened people. They wanted to kill Nancy Pelosi. It still blows my mind that actually happened. The real question is, how did that even happen in the first place? I mean, how did those people get in a post 9/11 society, how were those people able to breach the Capitol like they did? It really is dangerous. I mean, and we're in a very dangerous, polarized time in the first place, which is why I think every member of Congress and the Senate ought to receive some sort of detailed protection, because you have the left saying, attack them, attack people that enable the president and whatever, and then you have the right doing what they're doing. So what you think is going to happen? Somebody's going to get angry and hurt somebody. And quite honestly, I don't think we pay them enough to have to deal with that. I mean, who's going to want to serve us and our country with that kind of attitude?
Yeah, man, I agree with you. But do you think the president is 100% the blame of all these riots that happened at the Capitol?
No, Trump gets most of it, but no, there are many senators and congressmen and women that went along with this. That Rudy Giuliani, Trump's moronic kids, his legal team, radio and TV hosts. There's too many to mention, but there are a lot of people that went along with that. I was on your show a couple of weeks ago, and we were talking about anything that to try to get Trump in, even though he lost or whatever, any last-ditch effort. And I told you that it took a 2/3 vote to make it happen. And everyone kept saying, wait till the 6th, wait till the 6th. They made people believe this lie. And it was never going to happen. And they probably, a lot of them had to have known, because these are smart people. You're talking about smart people like Ted Cruz and Josh Hawley. I hate to say it, our Senator John Kennedy. These people went along with that. And so, no, I don't think Trump gets the 100% blame, but he gets most of it because he's the president, and words and people listen to him. People listen to him.
Right. So do you think the division by political affiliation will ever change? The stuff we're seeing today, how it's Republicans versus Democrats, and all the disagreements are based on how you affiliate politically with what party. Do you think that's ever going to go anywhere?
No, I don't think it's going to go anywhere because we are so past normalcy. We are so past respecting each other. I don't think it's going to come back. I hope it does. I'm one of those people that will try to do everything I can to not be so flamboyant when it comes to my politics, and try to treat everybody with respect and whatnot. But I don't think it's coming back.
So before the riot, do you think there's any chance that the election results could have been altered or changed in any way?
No, it was a lost cause from the beginning. I mean, it couldn't happen. Whether the Republicans would have had both majorities, you still needed more than the majority. So, like, you needed 60 senators, and then you needed over 200. I think it was like 250 House members. So it was just never going to happen. So I don't know why people, tried to make people believe that it was going to happen. It just never could happen.
Right. So let's switch gears away from that and go to the double losses in Georgia. What do you think this means for the future of our democracy, with the two Republicans losing and now the Democrats holding control of the Senate, the House, as well as the White House?
Well, that was a big blow. I mean, that was really unfortunate. I'm scared for our country. You have Joe Biden, the president, Democrat president. You have Democrat Senate, Democrat House. I mean, it's about to get interesting. You have Joe Manchin. He'll try to avoid all the crazy socialist ideas, but for the most part, a lot of the stuff will get through. The bottom line, the reason we didn't win Georgia was because of the president. I mean, you're telling people that the election was rigged. You're
Right.
telling people that you won, they didn't. And what do you think? Do you think they're going to go vote?
Right. So
Absolutely not.
that kind of aligns with one more question we had for you. So if Trump legitimately thought of the election as rigged, why would he tell people to vote for a Senate election? And why vote when the guy telling you to vote also does not trust the voting system?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it just doesn't add up. Plus, it made the election about him. And Donald Trump motivates the crap out of the left. He motivates African Americans to go vote. He motivates suburban women to go vote. They made it about him, and well, Kelly and David Perdue are not Kelly Loeffler and David Perdue are not senators anymore. So shame on them and their people for not having enough sense to see that making it about him, making it about election fraud, quote unquote election fraud, was not a real good idea.
Right. So lastly, before we wrap this thing up, what's the future of the Grand Ole Party? Where do you see it going? Do you think that there's still a future? Do you think 2022 could maybe be a change in those House elections and Senate elections coming up, or do you think it's just shot?
Honestly, I don't know. I'm a natural optimist, so I'm hoping that we will continue to be the alternative to the Democrats. Our party is going to have to go through a huge identity crisis. We're going to have to figure out who we are, who we want to be. Personally, I don't see or don't want to see a future with the Trumps. I think they are a poison to our party. They threaten people that go against their father just for one thing. Like Don Jr. and Eric Trump, saying, oh, this is Donald Trump's Republican Party, and if you go against him, we're going to primary you. We'll be over there. Those threats of fellow Republicans is just, it's nonsense, and it just further divides. We are a divided country, but as Republicans, we are a divided party. You have a good percentage that are still very loyal to Donald Trump, and quite honestly, you have a bunch that are waking up and saying, okay, wait, this is not right. I mean, and he needs to go. I think he needs to go. A lot of his ideas and policies need to remain in the party because it has diversified the party and it has allowed us to reach people that wouldn't necessarily vote Republican. But he's got to go. I mean, he is just so polarizing. And some would say, well, the media wasn't fair and this and that. And I agree. I mean, the media has helped shape public opinion against Donald Trump, but he's also given them a lot of ammo as well. So I hope the party have those tough conversations in the future. I think we're poised to win back the House. I mean, Nancy barely kept her speakership. No Republican incumbents lost. But then again, get ready for the Capitol mob attack to be tied around every Republican's neck. And then impeachment. They're dividing the party even more because you have some that want to go with impeachment, you have some that don't. You have some that hate him and some that still love him. Right. So we are a very divided party right now, and we're gonna have to figure it out, and hopefully we can get more young people like y'all into the conversation as well, and get some of these old people out.
Right. Yeah, that's my goal.
I have nothing against the elder members of the party, but at some point, you have to pass the torch, and President Trump has to pass the torch too. It's time for him to pass the torch.
Right, and
he's done with it.
I agree with you, and I think it's time for change overall in both the Republican Party and in America as a whole. Because back to the division by political affiliation, I don't think that's something that belongs in America. Because, like you said earlier, America, people are killing to be like us, and we're out here divided. Like, that's not what America should be.
Yeah, man, we take it so for granted, our freedoms and our liberties and our way of life here. Then again, another sense is that, I get so many ugly text messages, ugly comments, because I speak out about things that I don't agree with. And look,
Right.
if you think one way, fine, I respect it. If I think that way, just trying to do that. We have a problem in the party where if you go against Trump on just one issue, and now I'm against him 100%. I made that conclusion. I don't no longer defend or support him on account of I think the man is literally deranged. After that phone call, I was like, okay, wait, this is it. This is enough. People will come at you crazy because of the way you think, and I think if we can be a little more understanding about different perspectives and just let people think how they want to think, we would be so much better off as a party and as a nation.
Right.
Stop killing our own. We kill our own. We kill our own within the party.
Right.
We don't all agree on the same thing.
Yeah, 100%.
And we are a very diverse party of thinking. And if Republicans can understand that, and I'll say Republicans because those Trump people within the Republican Party can understand that, we'd welcome them more within the party. But there's a big push now to just say, look, Mr. Trump, take you and your supporters and you go somewhere else.
Right.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more.
That is building up within the party.
Right. I don't know if I'm more nervous or more excited to see the future of the Republican Party right now. And that'll be decided whenever the 2022 election cycle rolls around, I guess, with the House and Senate coming up there.
Well, yeah, and it will also determine, how Republicans handle the impeachment or the trial, the conviction, and this and that. You see, here's the thing. Republicans are, more establishment, normal Republicans. They're like, look, if we impeach Trump, if we convict him, he won't be able to run for office again. So we can kind of get rid of him officially that way. I'm going to remain optimistic about the party.
For sure.
And I'm going to continue to tell people what we stand for and all that stuff. We will be a good, strong opposition to Joe Biden when necessary. Hopefully they can figure out how we can heal the divide and whatnot. I said this right after Joe Biden accepted that he had won. I said, I didn't vote for him. I didn't want him to win, but I'm going to give him a chance.
Right.
And boy, everybody got on me for saying that, but to me that shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah, because that's all you can do at this point.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Like Kate said, what else are we supposed to do?
What else are you supposed to do? You can remain optimistic, but you got to give the man a chance to see what he can do.
Yeah, and then I give him a clean slate with me, and we just gotta pipe it down a lot. And Trump, he toned into people were angry, and people have legit reasons to be angry, but we kind of seen how that can get out. It's gotten out of hand. It's gotten out of hand lately. We're just so ugly to each other and all that stuff. And we gotta come to the understanding where we agree more than we disagree. And when we disagree on really the strong issues that we stand for. But there's so many other things. And I'm not saying it's all the Republicans' fault, because the Democrats have just as much as the blame for inciting or toning in and talking to the angriest people within their party and giving them an outlet to spew the hatred, because there's plenty of it on the list.
Right. Well, Kelby, thank you so much for joining us today, and it's been great having you and great to hear what you had to say. And more of the Bobby Turtle Show will be coming up after this short break. If you're a hat and hoodie person like myself, I'm pretty sure I found your new favorite shop. Get online and check out Dryden Apparel at DrydenApparelAndMedia.com. The hats, shirts, and hoodies look great, and if you ever catch me recording, I'll always have that hat on. And the quality is also unmatched. Plus, Dryden's still running a holiday sale with many of their items at a pretty great price. Check them out on social media at Dryden_media for instant updates on the latest hats, shirts, and hoodies. Dryden Apparel and Media is a brand dedicated to bringing you extremely wild, fun, and comedic content while spreading the true gospel of Jesus Christ. Welcome back, you guys. It's time to get into some questions that you sent in to us. But first up, I want to thank Kelby again for coming on. He's a political consultant, actually, in case I didn't mention that. And you can hit me up, and I can send you Kelby's information. Or You can go check his Facebook page out at KD Consulting LLC on Facebook, and he's a great guy, so easy to talk to. He's done a lot for us. He's helped me out big time, tremendously. Can't thank him enough for his help. Anyways, we're going to get into it, but before we get to your questions, James Harden was just sent to the Brooklyn Nets in a 4-team deal.
That's amazing. I don't know what I don't know. I haven't looked into the details of the deal because obviously it just happened, but it better be a good deal or the Rockets are complete idiots.
I'm blown away by the fact that they got rid of him, first of all.
I feel like in today's NBA, though, all the player has to do is say, oh, yeah, I want to go here. And I feel like they just drop whatever they're doing at that point and make it happen because that's what Kyrie did.
Yeah, pretty much. Now they have Kyrie, KD, and James Harden all on the same team. But the question is, with James Harden, he don't like to pass the ball very much. Does that team work as a super team there? Do you think they're going to be able to work that out?
Well, if a lot don't remember, but James Harden and KD have already played together for the Oklahoma City Thunder.
That's right.
And it was a younger James Harden, of course, and a younger Kevin Durant. But I don't think it's going to work because you got to think you can only.
That's why KD left though, is because James Harden didn't share the ball.
You can only
and
score one basket at a time.
Right.
You know
that's very true. Very true.
So, and I think they're all going to get selfish and all get big heads, and I think
somebody's going to get mad, and then they're all going to split apart and probably keep one of them.
Then they're going to end up like my favorite NBA team, OKC, sucking. So.
Yeah, because y'all lost Westbrook, Harden, and KD, who are all three on the same team at one time.
We got Steven Adams.
No, you don't. He's at the Pelicans now, isn't he?
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. No, we have
Dennis Schroeder. Is he still there?
I don't know. Probably not. Do we still have a coach? Are we still a team? I don't know.
I don't know. Y'all are probably going to go back. They were in Seattle before they went to OKC, right?
Yeah, they were the Seattle Supersonics.
Yeah. So back to the topic we're supposed to be on, and that's the questions you guys sent in for us. The first one was thoughts on Chris Curry and Eric Gilbert transferring.
So Chris Curry, I wasn't really surprised about that one, just because he hasn't really got a lot of playing time, and they gave him that number 18. So I mean, he probably had it in his head, yeah, I'm gonna get a lot of playing time, this, that, and the other, but things just didn't pan out for him. There's a lot of talent in that running back room, and I just think there wasn't enough room for him. I think he was the least talented out of the bunch. So As far as Eric Gilbert, that was pretty terrible.
His excuse for sitting out was homesickness, if I'm not mistaken.
No. So I saw homesickness, and then I saw where he said his body hurts.
Wow.
Like, how are you?
So I know if he's going to transfer, there's no way he transfers to an SEC school. Because if his body hurts playing for LSU, his body's going to hurt a lot worse playing for anybody else in the SEC.
The rumor right now is Florida.
He should probably go to a team in the, what's it called? It's the Southeastern. Go to Southeastern or something like that.
FBS, or the FCS.
FCS, an FCS school. And not North Dakota State either, because they're actually kind of good.
Well, if he went to Florida, that means they have Kyle Pitts and Eric Gilbert.
I thought Kyle Pitts was graduating this year. I thought he's done.
No.
He's not?
Nuh-uh.
Oh,
Kyle
Lord.
Pitts is only, I think, a sophomore.
Oh, Lord. That's going to be...
Yeah, I know. So I hope he doesn't go there, but, I mean, I think Eric Gilbert was just soft, and I've seen since high school. He was the Gatorade High School All-American, all that other bull crap, 5-star coming out of a high school. I think it was Marietta High School in Marietta, Georgia. And actually, B.J. Ojolari or whatever, he played there with him. But I've seen multiple interviews that said Eric Gilbert, he's always been a talented football player, but he's always had attitude issues when he didn't feel like he was getting the ball enough.
Right. So back to another LSU question you guys sent in. Who gets the defensive coordinator job there?
I mean, y'all know as well as I do. We've interviewed a couple people, and I think Coach O is actually taking his time with it because he's already made one mistake and already jumped the gun on one by hiring Bo Pelini. So I think by not hiring Zach Arnett.
Right. We had Marcus Freeman, correct, from Cincinnati.
Marcus
he
Freeman
chose Notre Dame.
Well, yeah, and that wasn't that much of a shock to me because he's an up north guy. He's a Midwest guy, and that's closer to home for him, and that's right up his alley. And it's not as much of a change like it is like going from Cincinnati to LSU as far as Cincinnati to Notre Dame. It's different. It's not the same level.
Right. I saw something where what was it? Saw something about Will Muschamp possibly coming for LSU's defensive coordinator spot, or being interviewed for it, rather.
Well, just to give you a little update on that, we scored 50 points on Will Muschamp. That's a horrible idea. Just because we won a national championship with him as defensive coordinator doesn't mean we need to hire him again. We already tried that one time.
Yeah, we did that with Bo Pelini.
So I think we're going to try to steer away from former coaches at this point.
All right, so another question that we were asked was one that you're not going to like. It was also asked last week. How about them Saints?
How about them Aints? How about let's not talk about it?
I'm still kind of upset that they played on Nickelodeon, and I don't understand how the MVP worked, the Nickelodeon Valuable Player. I don't know if you saw that or not, but they had where they let the fans go and select the Nickelodeon Valuable Player for that game, and they chose Mitch Trubisky.
Yeah, Mr. Trubisky is hot garbage. I don't know why they chose him.
I don't understand it. So how do you see America in the coming years, Cade?
I see America a lot different than the way I see it now, depending on what happens as far from a political spectrum. I think as far as our part of the world that I would like to say, where we live, I don't think much will be changed. Because you got to think, when Obama was president and when Trump was president, it was vastly different. In a lot of big cities like New York and all that stuff like that, here, the way of life's the exact same. So I think as far as our way of life, it'll stay the same.
Right. Yeah, I totally agree with you. But I'm anxious to see what's going to happen. In
yeah,
other
but for
places,
America as
you know.
a whole and our safety as a country,
nervous.
I'm nervous for it. Yeah.
100%. So the final question that we had was the opinion on Joe Burrow possibly getting Jamar Chase and having T. Higgins next year.
It's badass.
There is a possibility for that. There's always, there's a really
It should
good
happen. I
possibility
mean,
for that.
that's a great idea.
You put those two guys together, or three guys together, Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase alone. You put them together, and it's.
But also,
combination.
I don't know if they should waste a first-round draft pick.
I think they should use a first-round draft pick on a new offensive lineman.
On a new
I don't
offensive
care
lineman.
what position. Somewhere, left tackle, left guard, center, right guard, or right tackle. It's
It doesn't
got to
matter.
be a
They're
new
all
offensive
bad.
lineman.
They're all bad.
And that's the reason Joe Burrow did not get to play his full rookie season. Unfortunately,
Agreed.
I hated to see that happen.
Yeah, I hate to see he had a knee injury, and you don't want to blame the O-line, but you knew eventually he was going to get hurt because he just got banged up every game.
Right, and it was so sad to watch because
Oh, yeah, it was
and
sad to watch.
He's
I
still got a
couldn't
very
watch.
promising future ahead of him.
Yeah, I had to turn off some games just because of how hard he was getting banged around back there.
Oh my God, and
It's
it
like
was
his
bad.
offensive line didn't care. It's like they've never played football in their life.
No, hey, I know a guy that y'all might could look at.
Not me. Don't. Nope.
Cade Madison.
Oh.
Cade Madison.
Too short.
Cincinnati
Too
Bengals.
fat.
Starting what? Left guard, right guard? Where were you at this year?
I played left tackle this year,
Left tackle.
but no.
All right, guys. Well, that does it for episode 7. You keep blowing up the numbers in our social medias at Bobby Turtle Pod across the board. That covers Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And be sure to check us out on our new YouTube channel and go subscribe to that as well. And as always, Turtle Gang,
Out.
sir.